And Just Like That is a hot garbage dumpster fire mess, and I really hope it gets cancelled. Let's get right to it. Before I filmed this video, I found out that And Just Like That is most likely getting a season 2, but let's just talk about it, okay? Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mo, and welcome to my channel, Mo Says So, where we talk about social commentary, social justice, and whatever else I feel like. In today's video, I would like to talk about the Sex and the City reboot And Just Like That, and why HBO should just cancel it. At the very least, don't order a second season. We're going to talk about everything from Miranda's bad wig to why diversity and inclusion are not the same thing. There's supposedly one more episode of And Just Like That left in this season, and I really want HBO to get the message that we don't want another season. We are tired of watching this no good train wreck, hot garbage dumpster fire of a show, and we are begging you, please, no season 2, just cancel it, okay? The only good thing to come out of this is the internet collectively roasting this sorry excuse for a show. So let's examine all the reasons why this show is trash. Now, if you don't want to sit through this whole video, let me give you the TLDR, the bullet points, if I may say so myself. 1, it's a self-congratulatory crash grab. 2, it really suffers from poor storytelling. 3, the characters don't ring true to real life or the original series or anything. The fashion is sad. There's no steamy parts, only cringe. It's trying too hard to be woke and failing miserably. They are obsessed with being old, and maybe that's the reason for Miranda's really bad wig. Maud, Golden Girls, Hot in Cleveland, Tell Me You Love Me, and the Bold Type all did it first, and they did it better. We're going to go through these points one by one, but first, I just want to talk for a little bit. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where a white woman has done something offensive to you and you think to yourself, she must not know how her actions or her words impact others, so I'm just going to point it to her real quick, and you think it would either lead to a quick apology or she'll change her behavior, or both. But instead, you have to listen to basically a dissertation on how she is oppressed, how these accusations are making her feel sad, and how she is really the victim. Not only does her explanation of what she did and why she did what she did go on for far too long, she keeps telling people about it every chance she gets. She keeps bringing it up over and over again, and what you thought would have been a very short conversation somehow ends up with you being the villain in the story. This happens very often to Black women and women of color in work situations and in higher education. I've had it happen to me quite a few times. And if you are a woman of color, or dare I say a person of color in general, you probably had it happen to you a few times. That feeling, that discomfort in the pit of your stomach, that is exactly what I feel when I watch And Just Like That. Which is why I think they should have just called it Karen in the City, or what some other commentators are calling it, Unwoke Like That. It seems to me as though the creators, the actors, the writers, I'm not sure who, were criticized one time too many, and now we all have to sit, well, we didn't have to sit, we chose to, but anyway, we were somehow graced with this 10-episode arc of them telling us why they are right and we are wrong. Is it just me, or does it seem like Sarah Jessica Parker wanted to prove to the whole world that Kim Cattrall is not a nice person and she, Sarah Jessica Parker, is a nice person and she's right and we are wrong? Otherwise, why wouldn't they just have killed off Samantha's character? They could have let her die. She could have died of COVID. The cancer could have come back. She could have died happily on top of her favorite ride, a very young strapping man. Anything. But no, they chose to make her be the bad friend that abandoned the friend group over something petty. come on now. We see what you're doing and we're not falling for it. I heard that the actresses made $1 million per episode, plus whatever they got in addition for being producers and directors. The writers have made a whole podcast to congratulate themselves on this nonsense that they call a show, and y'all, they even made a documentary. How much and just like that content are we expected to suffer through? At this point, you cannot tell me that these people did not make this reboot for the sole purpose of reliving their glory days, talking about themselves and praising themselves for doing a great job while raking in all the cash. Yes, money is a motivator because we live in a capitalist society, but at least put in the effort and give us something good. They didn't even have the constant product placement of the movies to amuse us. Did the brands not want to work with them, or did HBO pay them so much that they don't need the brands' money? But if they treated the brands the way they treated Peloton, then the brands lucked out, to be honest. Speaking of brands, where is the fashion? Where is the bold, edgy fashion that we remember the show for? Y'all remember the scandal of Carrie's visible bra strap, Miranda's fashionable dresses? At least Charlotte still give us Upper East Side lady who lunches. We have Miranda trying and failing to give us Brooklyn hipster granny. We have Carrie going down memory lane and giving us Night at the Museum in her old apartment, and nothing else that really sticks out as a fashion moment. Where is the Carrie who wore a bird on her head to her wedding that didn't happen? Walk down any street in New York right now and you're sure to see people of all ages in trendy, edgy, and weird fashion choices. Where is that? The most memorable fashion moment for me has been wearing a sari, and that almost ruined saris for me, if I tell you all the truth. What I really wanted to say is that for a show relying so much on nostalgia, they're really doing everything to make us hate the characters we once loved. Well, love is a strong word. I watched most of Sex and the City during third class summer to escape the shittiness of being on a boat in the middle of an ocean with people who don't like you because you're black. Anyway, that's another story for another time. So yes, Sex and the City was a welcome distraction back then. What were we talking about? Yes, nostalgia. Who are the people on this show? Miranda is unrecognizable. Carrie is meh. If the ladies from Sex and the City met the ladies from And Just Like That, they would not recognize them. They'd be like, who are you? What have you done to us? Like, why isn't Carrie an influencer? They talked about her Instagram in the beginning. Why doesn't she have a manager pushing her to do brand deals? Why isn't she doing Instagram lives, showing outfits, doing story times on YouTube? There's so much they could have done instead of a silly podcast with two other hosts where she flails like a fish out of water. And these new characters, where do I even start? It feels like these new characters are literally just there to check a box. And the more the series goes on, the more these new characters devolve into stereotypes. Let's start with Diaz, the character that everyone loves to hate, or they want to sleep with her, or both at the same time. What are they doing with Che's character? I don't even care about whether their jokes are funny or not. But have y'all heard that joke about bisexuals being indecisive and not being able to commit? Well, Che is what would happen if that joke became a person. I really just can't with Che. Miranda, I smoke a lot of weed. I can't respond to all my DMs. Miranda, I love you, but I can't give you traditional. I can't. I can't. At the start of the series, Che was sexy and hot. Now they're reminding me of my ex-friends with benefits, and I might need to watch some Grey's Anatomy or some Madam Secretary to remember why I love Sara Ramirez. Although the fact that people have such strong feelings about Che proves that Sara is a heck of an actor. Now, the black professor, what are they doing with that character? I really don't get it. Like, I should like her. She's smart, she's sexy, she overshares. But I really don't believe she would be telling Miranda all her business about her fertility and everything when she's the professor. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like, they're making that whole couple very unlikable. And no. Mm-mm. Now, LTW, Lisa Todd Wexley. As usual, it feels like they're trying to both humble a black woman and make her a magical Negro to solve all your problems magically. I don't really have the words, but I know that in all my nearly 40 years, I have never met a black woman who would eat a fry off a plate of a person she just met, far less a white woman. Oh, wait, that reminds me, that's the main reason I got fired from my last job at the resort, because I wouldn't eat the fries off a white woman's plate. Ooh. You know what? Let's move on to Seema. What can I say? They tried to replace Samantha, even with the S name and everything, but the magic just isn't there. The actress is great and there are some good moments, but the character suffers from what the series suffers as a whole. Poor character development and poor storytelling. It feels like all the stories are overworked, lack focus. Like, what are they even trying to say? Drink every time I say, what are they trying to say? What it gets down to is that those characters all feel like they added them to say, look, we have diversity. The thing is that diversity does not mean the same as representation or inclusion, and those are highly lacking. The writers feel lost. It's like the story they're telling feels both underdeveloped and overworked at the same time. I have been there. There's a push and a pull in the writing. You want to make sure you include all the details. There's a desire to stand in your truth, but without oversharing. Sometimes you're just telling too many stories at once. You need to edit. Pull out the things that are not relevant to what you are trying to say. It feels like there was someone at the top afraid of making the hard decisions, afraid of saying, we need to cut this out. This whole series is like a ship without a sail, without a rudder, without a coxswain on the rudder. It's my nautical background, y'all. That's what's just happened there. Even a book that is a collection of short stories has a unifying theme. What is the theme in this series? The only theme I can think of is, boy, aren't we old? Yes, menopause happens. Menopause is rough. But what we needed was Samantha saying, take these pills, it will be okay, I've been through it. Like she did in the last movie. Y'all remember sweaty Samantha and her pills in Dubai or wherever it is they went? Not one hot flash was seen in this series. But we were graced with a flash period on white pants. They claim they're embracing aging, but it seems like they're more resigned to being old and making 50 the new 70. As someone who spends a lot of time teaching yoga to 70-year-olds, the chronically ill, and menopausal women, I think I can say this ain't it. At 80, my arthritic grandmother seems younger than these women. There's embracing aging, and there's what one of my clients in her 80s called sitting around and waiting to die. What else can you call Miranda's cheap mess of a wig? First, why couldn't they use Cynthia Nixon's hair? Why? It makes no sense unless they were trying to make her look old and frumpy. Why did the wig have to look so bad? If the dollar store sold wigs, y'all, they would not sell that. This wig looked like it was picked up out of a dumpster, run over a few times, shaken, and plopped on Miranda's head. At least they switch sometimes to a slightly better wig, but you're in your mid-50s playing someone in their mid-50s. Just wear your hair. You can't tell me that they were not lighting and using makeup to make these actresses look older. Either that or these women's glam squads are miracle workers, because not even in paparazzi pictures did they look as old as they did in the beginning of the series. At some point, these actresses in their mid-50s looked and acted like they were older than Maggie Smith, Judi Dench, and Helen Mirren. I was going to point out Halle Berry and Jennifer Lewis being 65.
Hey! I'm 65. Hey! And I'm still alive. Hey!
But we know they have the black don't crack gene, so it just wouldn't be fair to these snow queens. But speaking of aging gracefully, where is the sex? I said it before and I will say it again. Middle-aged sex is a topic with so many areas to explore. Remember when Samantha's vagina was depressed and she had to take antidepressants for it? Where is that moment? Where is it? Maybe we will get it in the finale, because at least based on the trailer, we see both Seema and Carrie have some horizontal time. But where are the bedroom adventures? We got that cringe of Brady and his girlfriend loudly going at it while his parents pretended not to hear. Wouldn't it have been better if Brady and his girlfriend walked in on Steve and Miranda fully naked going at it in the living room? Instead, we got Lily walking in on Charlotte and Harry. They were not even in progress. We got a sad prosthetic peen and a whole peen episode that nobody asked for. We got Miranda and Carrie freaking out and acting like a wife shouldn't enjoy pleasuring her husband. Now that is a story I would happily watch. A married couple still going at it like rabbits and how they have adapted. Let Charlotte tell us about the new thing her and Harry are trying in the bedroom, or how long he lasts now that he's taken up green juice or whatever. Or let somebody have like a pain in their hip and tell us about the wedge they use to, have great experience without having the pain in their hip. So much they could focus on. Instead, they gave us cringe. They had a chance to tell a wonderful story about women in their 50s, their joys, their struggles, their triumphs, their successes, their failures. They could have done something great. Instead, they woke up, chose violence, and gave us trash. The thing is, they tried to reinvent the wheel, but instead, they did something that had been done before and did it poorly. Golden Girls did it first and did it better. No explanation needed. We can even go back to Maud in the 70s with a bleeding heart, menopausal, white, liberal woman trying to show the world how good she is. Hot in Cleveland didn't take themselves too seriously, but they knew well enough to add Betty White. Hell, Betty White in Hot in Cleveland was more with it in her bedazzled tracksuits than all these women. Showtime canceled Tell Me You Love Me, but at least they dared to show us old people. Now, if you have that Sex and the City itch that and just like that just couldn't scratch, let me recommend the bold type. It is Ugly Betty meets Sex and the City. You can watch it on Freeform and maybe on Netflix. It has everything. New York City, friendships, a virgin, a sex club, lesbians, bisexuals, married couple watching porn together, and pegging. What I like about it is that it's not prudish or approaching sex like school kids whispering and giggling in the bathroom. It's grown. We do what grown folks do, and we're not ashamed of it. Now, you might need a VPN to watch it, but I swear it is worth it. Now, they're saying that apparently this mess of a show and Just Like That is coming back for season 2. But I really don't believe that that decision is based off anything other than the press that they paid for in the beginning of the series. Because they claim phenomenal viewership and great reception. But all I've seen is that most people hate Che Diaz, hashtag justice for Steve, and a lot of roasting. I managed to do this entire video without talking about Miranda divorcing Steve and a bunch of other stuff, so let's do a quick draw. Why is no one suggesting grief counseling for Carrie? Why did they let Cynthia Nixon dictate what Miranda wears and what direction the character goes in? Why did they have to make Steve so pathetic? Miranda could have been happy with Steve and just wanted someone else. That's a thing. It happens. Why didn't Charlotte obsessively research other menstrual products for Lily? And why didn't Lily Google it herself, watch videos, do her own research? We've moved past tampons and pads. We have other options. We could have gotten some menstrual swimwear for Lily, but they wanted tampon humor. But what if Lily left her menstrual swimwear on too long and it leaked down her leg? There you go. There's your humor. And you know what? I saw a tweet that said Samantha would have pulled a tampon out for Lily because she would have been that cool aunt, and I co-signed that. Because the other day when I was live on Twitch, I was talking about menstrual cups and people having to get their partner to pull it out, and someone told me they did have to pull out their friend's menstrual cup. So you know, people do that for people. Speaking of which, on the bowl type, a yoni egg got stuck in one of the women and her friends had to pull it out for her. But let's face it, the people involved in this show are not creative. They're stuck in the past. I really hope they don't get season 2, but it looks like they will. And you know what? We will be here to roast it. And just like that, Karen's in the City gets a season 2 so they can continue to erroneously compete in the woke Olympics. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this, check out some of my other videos and check the description box for some more ways you can support me and my channel. I'll see y'all soon. Bye!